Barry and Andrea, founders of Atlantia Food Trials. Welcome to Irish Startup TV.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, what do you do at Atlantia Food Trials?
Well, we do clinical trials for functional foods, beverages and supplements. So, as a lot of people would know, drugs are run through clinical trials all the time to prove their safety and efficacy. So we do much the same thing to the same standard, but we don't do them on drugs, we do them on foods that have a benefit outside of the nutritional benefit. So they're then known as functional foods. It's quite a broad market, it crosses a lot of health areas. It's everything from probiotics, prebiotics to supplements, vitamins, minerals, all the way through sports beverages, and a lot of the new kind of emerging technologies like pick-me-up beverages, and even the use of caffeine as an endurance and a performance enhancer.
I remember studying an extramural in sports science in Trinity a number of years ago, and understanding that when a product makes a claim, it can be based on a specific lab experience. It's not always easy to reproduce that claim. So this is exactly where you guys fit in, proving the validity of the claim of the product.
Exactly. So if a company wants to make a health claim on their product, they have to scientifically validate it, and they have to give supporting evidence, always through human clinical trials, but also if they have the evidence through preclinical, through animal research, through in vivo, in vitro, they can support their dossier in the submission to the European Food Safety Authority in order to attain that health claim. And we work with companies, small innovative companies, right through to large multinational food companies, and through with companies as well who are more in the pharmaceutical space, but looking into developing their consumer healthcare division. So the companies we work with are very broad, mainly international companies, through Europe and through North America as well.
And what inspired the business?
Well,
Okay, so I guess I have a long experience in working in clinical research, and when I moved back to Ireland from the States back in 2000, I started working in clinical research, and again I started working with the research centre called the Alimentary Pharmabiotic Centre, which is based in UCC. And companies were coming to the APC in wanting clinical research conducted. It wasn't the primary remit of the research centre or of the university, so at that point it was decided to spin out Atlantia, and that was back in 2012. So we've been based in UCC since then, and we've had fantastic support from the tech transfer team here in UCC, and from the support really throughout the university in every element. And we tap in and we work very closely with the university still from a perspective of outsourcing some of our analysis, working with the scientists within the centre and the university, and also working with the clinicians in UCC and Cork University Hospital and Mercer University Hospital as well. So it's been really beneficial for us to be based here.
So it's very much the classic scenario of you spotted a niche in the market.
It is, and the functional food space it's a hugely growing market. Now it's very broad and diverse. Various values have been put on, but 22.5 billion all the way down to 11.5, 11.8 billion. It's hard to.
Are they global numbers?
Global numbers, yeah. So there's pockets of the globe that have a lot of activity, like the Asian market, parts of the American market and South American market. Europe is not bad in terms of functional foods, but I suppose there's different health areas have different rates of progression in different markets. We are a global company. We predominantly deal with global companies, so we have a lot of very large multinationals on our client list, but we have a lot of very small startup businesses as well. We have done some trials for Irish companies, and we talk to Irish companies all the time. There's a great legacy of food in Ireland, a great legacy of food, especially in Cork. So, as Andrea said, the natural progression for us was to spin out and stay within the bounds of the university, where a lot of the food companies will come for advice and trending information, and even added education updates and whatnot, So we've benefited greatly from that, and the power of, I suppose, the network here has been hugely beneficial to us, and has introduced us to companies that ordinarily probably wouldn't have got to be introduced to, and having been in the incubation unit then here again has greatly benefited us, because you're embedded in the network, where sometimes it's rough on your own on the outside. You're trying to get these interviews and trying to get these meetings with companies is nigh impossible when you're not a multinational yourself.
the power of the cup of coffee as well, sometimes just being able to reach out and meet somebody.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge benefit. We, as a team, we've grown. I come from the food space myself. My history is in food, and I graduated University UCC here in food science and technology and nutrition. But I suppose the space has changed immeasurably over the years, and what we do, we're seeing it's a hugely interesting business that we do. I mean, we see very cutting edge products. So yeah, having that ability to sit down with somebody and just have a top line discussion with, you know, because when we do what we do, we have to design a study around what it is our clients are trying to prove. So essentially Andrea has to become a partial expert in everything, and that's just the nature of our business. So there's an awful lot of research and background research in terms of putting together the proposals that we do, and we win a lot of them. So I mean, we are a global player, there's no doubt about it, you know.
Yeah.
That's quite incredible. And how do you scale then? Do you have teams that you tap into as and when required?
Yes, I guess we have a core team of 6 full-time staff, and then we have a number of part-time employees, as well as we take on interns throughout the summer. But we really would tap back into the university for that expertise. So we would work in, a lot of our trials we do are mainly in the area of digestive health. So obviously we work with gastroenterologists in that space. We do studies in cardiovascular health, so we'd obviously work with a cardiologist. So we're constantly tapping into the expertise in the Cork community really, to guide us when it comes to the specifics of a study. I guess our experience, you know, we've learned a lot over the years, so we can do a lot of the feasibility stuff ourselves. We look, you know, we do literature reviews, but then when it comes to specifics, we would then talk to the experts in those various fields. You know, we've been very fortunate to have some other members, co-founders, as part of the Atlantia team, who bring a wealth of experience and who are highly published and have added so much, you know, have given a lot of added value to Atlantia and to the Atlantia team. So when we are looking to scale up or to, you know, bring in that additional expert, we do go back to the university and to the local hospitals. And
actually we also have a clinic in Dublin, which is a recent addition. So there's a new, I suppose, venture in growing the team and growing the whole platform in Dublin, replicating what we do in Cork, probably on a smaller scale because the network, our personal network, isn't as broad, but we're expecting to grow it obviously. So yeah, I mean, if we expand into another country, which is on our trajectory somewhere out there, not that far out, it'll be replicating to as much as we can do, in as much as we can do, replicating what we do here in Cork, you know. So our business model, our clients like our business model. They like us as a company because we're flexible. We're, you know, we're very we're accommodating. We're well priced. We position ourselves well, but it's a tough market out there. So they like the fact that we have that personal touch, and we are owner operated, and we're founders, and we're invested in this business. So when we replicate in Dublin, which we're doing now, it's difficult. But we're very adamant to keep the same type of model, that same personal touch, that same, you know, where we care for our clients. We assign a team, a very small team, to each project that we have, and they manage that project from start to finish. And we, of course, are available 24 hours a day. All the time we're on hand to help out whenever it's needed.
2 things really stand out there. One is the sort of symbiotic relationship that you have at the university, that if I was a young guy, young girl, and I was thinking of what, you know, where to next, I'm coming out of university, that there's very much somewhere to go, which is very cool.
Cork has offered a semi-unique support network, but it's given us the confidence to be able to take that network and replicate it elsewhere, you know. But without, you know, without the help we've had here, we would never have got off the ground, really.
And I mean, it's amazing sometimes when you investigate, when you're looking to expand and grow, and you do investigate what opportunities are out there. I'm amazed sometimes at what is on your doorstep that you don't even realise. I mean, we started working with a company very recently in the whole recruitment of volunteers, because the people who participate in our studies are all healthy. They may have indication that puts them at risk for disease, for example, mildly elevated cholesterol, or they might be mild hypertensive, or they might suffer from bowel functions that wouldn't be still regarded as disease. And so, you know, this opportunity really, when you look at what's on your doorstep and to see what's out there and the supports that are out there, is phenomenal, really.
Turning to the Startup Ireland gathering, I think it's really cool that I'm driving around the country, so I'm a lot more aware that, you know, we've got Uber have just headquartered in Limerick. You've got Apple has been here from the beginning of from Next, that became Apple, and they've got the European call centre here. Cork is very much standing on its own 2 feet.
It is. There's a great network. There's a great culture of entrepreneurial spirit here. Some would say it's because we should be the real capital, and you know, we're trying to prove to the world.
I was worried
the rebel county. So, but there is, and I think Ireland, on the whole, is very good for its network. I think people on the whole are very willing to help.
I think we're risk takers as well.
Okay,
you know, we like take a bit of chance every now and then, and delve. You know, have maybe our fingers in many pies and just try different things.
Yeah.
You know, I think as a culture, we're used to traveling. We're used to, you know, having to go abroad, whether it's, you know, to travel just for personal interest or to gain experience elsewhere. And when you come back, then you really come back with a wealth of knowledge that you can apply. I mean, most people we would work with, I mean, both Barry and I have done our time in the States, you know, and got our experience in the States, and then come back with that experience. And I think that's quite common. But I think also there's a culture within the university to, you know, to think outside the box, you know, try new things, take a chance. And certainly within Cork there are supports there between Enterprise Ireland, between Tech Transfer here and UCC, between the entrepreneurship in residence and CIT, and we've gained from all those supports as well.
And to follow up on that point, the calibre of the people that we can now tap into and hire in terms of a company is just second to none here, and it's nutritional science is very developed here. A lot of what we do is based around nutritional science. So yeah, I mean, year on year we have interns that we help, you know, get some experience. So we've worked with a lot of interns over the years, and even the people we've hired full time, it's just that level of
this is going back to this ecosystem and the putting back.
Yes,
it's
and where the university is pumping like very high caliber graduates out into the system, and we're able to tap into that, and then they have a network that they bring to us, and you know, the whole thing gels together. So it's very strongly orientated out of Cork, but as I said, like, we're spreading roots, and it can go right up into the north of Ireland. There's great collaborations happening across borders, you know.
There's a fantastic foundation here for innovation. What kind of advice would you have for young people? Would it be go to the US and come back, or join a startup in Ireland?
I think, you know what, years ago it was go to the States and come back. I think the new thinking is the opportunity is here now. You know, we're well able, we have companies, startups like ours, we've had people come to our company and, you know, praise the fact that this is what they're looking for, a high energy, fast move, fast pace, growing, dynamic company. So those companies weren't so ubiquitous when I left college, you know. There was the stalwarts in the industry, and you kind of, you know, you made your way up the ranks, but now the landscape has changed to the point where I think graduates who want to make their mark in Ireland can, and it's not so easy, but there's a lot of competition here, obviously. But those that have that drive, they're recognised early, especially in young companies. And as a company, like, we need dynamic go-getters, and we want managers for the future. So we have people with us now, and that's the track they're on, and they didn't ever leave. They didn't have to leave.
And I think the university as well supported more through programs like Ignite.
Yeah.
That wasn't around, I think, when I finished college. It certainly wasn't an option for me.
So entrepreneurship wasn't really a kind of a vocation at the time. Yeah.
Not so much. I mean, as Barry said, you know, you kind of went to the companies who were, you know, who were solid and kind of guaranteed, like the Irish multinationals.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of got your step hold. Whereas now, I think, you know, even students in college are doing courses in entrepreneurship. I mean, so the wealth of information that's out there, and to support them is much greater than what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, to call out as well, the SOS Ventures backed Indie Bio project, that's really cool, because that's democratising medtech and science.
Yeah.
Before it was, you know, I guess you guys know this really well, it was really expensive to get access to a laboratory, whereas UCC are helping out with that as well.
Absolutely, that's great. So that's part of the foundation stone of many of the businesses here. So access to, and we've had access to labs and experts, professors, and, you know, like, caliber people we couldn't have afforded to have access to if we were standing on, if we just did our own thing and not had been under the wing of the university here in the Gateway, you know. So yeah, and there's that, definitely.
Fantastic. So Cork is open for business, and it's time we leverage those opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's like Irish people, I think, always have this notion that we're the underdog and that we have to fight for a position globally, you know.
That's no harm.
There's no harm, actually, and that's a great, that's almost how we went out. We compete on the global platform against CROs, contract research organisations like us. They're a lot bigger and have a lot deeper pockets, but we have a unique offering, so we're novel. And what we do is, you know, we flex and we grow and we bend and we go round problems, and that's how we win. You know, so that Irish mentality, I think that's a good thing to have. And that's what sets Ireland apart. I've travelled, you've travelled, you know, companies around the world, or countries around the world rather, like the US, say that we have great common sense. And that's the thing that we should never lose sight of. We should keep our common sense as a nation. And young people coming out of college, they're much more confident now, but you know, a small bit of humility is no harm to have, because it gives you that hunger, that drive, and you can achieve anything you want to achieve. And I think as an Irish person, it actually makes it easier to achieve, because we're a well-liked nation across the globe, you know. And when we deal with these companies, they want to work with the Irish people. Everything else has to be in line, but you know, we bring the rest. We bring the expertise, we bring the pricing. But in terms of, you know, likability and personality as a nation, yeah, companies want to work and they want to do work here.
So Andrea, some closing inspiration for young people watching?
I'd say just, you know, study hard, but don't let, I guess, bureaucracy and the system sometimes undermine you. That if you have a good idea, you know, take the chance, take the risk. Worst case scenario, you'll fail, but you'll just pick up the pieces and move on. And that's business and that's life, and that, you know, you can achieve your dreams and your targets, and it just takes hard work. You know, pretty much anything is attainable by just working hard and being passionate what you do. You know, by really believing in the business and your idea, you can take it anywhere, to be honest.
Fantastic. Andrea, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Barry,
thanks very much indeed.